Hey, how's it going, guys? Ancient Rune here, back with another Borderlands 3 build video, and today I'll be going over my ultimate Moze build. Moze is an extremely busted character with tons of build variety and ways to do damage, and the Vault Hunter that can deal the most damage in the franchise, only being rivaled by Zane because of Zane's clear speed. You can probably see from the gameplay of using Snowshoe as it is one of the fastest clearing builds on Moze. I do not claim this interaction as my own, as I have seen it from Newtmad, Prismatic, Psychotic Wolf, Moxie, Quag, and so many others. I'm just using this plus other ways of dealing damage discovered by others with stuff like Mindsweeper to melt bosses, and can even just do a standard gun build since this build can take Shortfuse, and you'll see why it does in the video. Many builds are focused on one powerful thing, but this build focuses on all those powerful things together to have the main goal of dealing the most damage and clearing content fast. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. The save file will be found in my Discord, which is linked down below, and I hope you guys enjoy. Alright, so for the gear here and the setup, the main thing, especially for mobbing, is going to be Snowshoe tech. Now, for bossing, you're really going to be using grenades and Minesweeper. So first, we'll go over the Snowshoe stuff. First off, we have the Guardian Angel, up to 500% V2 damage, going into the Snowshoe, as well as the Sparkplug and Hunter Seeker. So I like to use URAD on this, which I get from 3 points into Thin Red Line from my class mod, but you can also use Terra Cryo. Now, since I'm already doing Cryo stuff, I care less about Terra Cryo and more want the URAD for the different element having shock in there, and also mainly the Radsplosions on there. We clear enough to where I don't know how much the Radsplosions is actually helping, but it is there. And then none of these guns matter for this part, so we're going on to the next thing, which is going to be the Snowshoe. You want it with the melee apply Terra Anointment because it applies with Slide and Slam, and Sparkplug here is going to count as a slide damage, so we have that. Building up our Terra here for our Terra on our Grenade Anointment, Terra V1. But the Snowshoe, when you slide into an enemy, it breaks, and it drains all your shield. It deals up to 300 or 39,609 damage in Cryo based on the current shield strength, but it also increases based off the max shield capacity, which is really nice. And this is constantly being broken and refilled because of Bloodletter and Sparkplug and Russian Offensive. So you basically slam with the Sparkplug. Sparkplug hits an enemy, it will break your shield. That Sparkplug will also heal your based off with health lifesteal from Russian Offensive. That health is turned into shield lifesteal because of Bloodletter instantly refills your shield, so your shield is full. It gets broken again, and because of Sparkplug still going out, and then that Sparkplug again heals based off of Bloodletter, fills up your shield instantly because it's just doing so much damage. And just if you're running while this is happening, the damage from the Snowshoe is also healing. So you're constantly just going in a constant loop of this. So it is insane how dumb this is. And this has been known for a long time. But this is like the strongest clear speed for Moze in like a general sense. And then like the parts on the Snowshoe don't really matter too much. I have Nova here, but it's very minimum. Then I have a Hunter Seeker here. Hunter Seeker is not really used much on Moze, but the Hunter Seeker projectiles are a bullet. That bullet procs Shortfuse, which is just amazing. So you can just throw these, and these are going after different enemies on its own. They're homing, so they just kind of do its own thing. You don't have to aim it or anything. So this is just really, really nice to have. And then I have it as Cryo because I have the superior firepower going on. So it's better than going corrosive in general. The only time it would matter is with like cryo-immune enemies. And then we have the Bloodletter here, having shield steel for the snowshoe. You do want to have thin red line here, but it's not needed, as you can just go Terra Cryo. It's not the worst thing in the world to not have URAD. It's fine. I've done it. But you want to make sure you have points in Phalanx Doctrine, since we don't have any in the skill tree, and this will boost our shield max capacity, which will just make our snowshoe deal more damage. So having either of those is good. And what you want to make sure you have is splash damage and splash damage radius. Splash damage just helps this splash damage deal more, help our Shortfuse deal more damage. Slash radius just increases the radius of the snowshoe. Hyperion crit damages here, because if you crit with the Hunter Seeker, that'll end up increasing the base damage of the Shortfuse if Shortfuse procs on that critting Hunter Seeker, as well as if the Spark Plug crits, because the Spark Plug can deal a decent amount of damage, just nowhere near as much as the Snowshoe and Shortfuse. And then we have a Spark Plug Victory Rush. The main thing you want out of this is a Spark Plug with area of effect damage in the second or third slot to increase the splash radius as well. Same reasons as before, just increasing your damage and radius. I have double roll movement speed on here just because I like to move fast. Victory Rush is really nice, but we already have this terror damage and fire rate. You could use this terror reload anointment, which deals a lot of damage, but like I found that I can just kind of slam again, or just throw a grenade, mainly slamming, and just have this Nova, and it ends up being better. And then I'm able to have terror damage and fire rate, and this is just more damage. And Victory Rush V1 damage isn't always active in all content, so having this is just kind of better. But if you did go this route with the Terror Consume does a Nova, having Victory Rush is more important, but it shouldn't be as hard, since the other two passes don't matter as much. You can go any element damage that you're dealing. You're dealing fire, radiation, cryo, technically shock because it's spark plug. Any of those will help your build. It's just we already deal 100% increased cryo damage, so having another 20 something percent isn't going to do much, or like 50 something percent, but good luck farming that. If you're using save editor, then sure, get that 50% increased cryo damage. All right, and now the next part we have in the gear is going to be grenades. You can keep on this Guardian Angel, or you could use a Terra Cryo one. Either one will work here. You're going to want to, what I like to do is just put on a Old God to get this URAD anointment, and then you'll want to throw on a Mindsweeper and a good grenade to proc it. My go-to is the Lightspeed, as well as a grenade with buffs. So we'll go over this again from the top. Guardian Angel for up to 500% V2 damage, which is going to be double, triple, quadruple dipping as much as the Minesweeper goes, as the Minesweeper is nuts, which we'll go over soon. And then we just got the URAD bonus element going. It matters less. I don't think there's really too much I can put on here that'll help, like 150 over 90 technically. But I've got so much V2 damage on this build, it's not going to matter as much. Front loader, just to have that URAD, you can also just go a Old God, and that'll help. Just matching the element. I don't really have much here to help it. I just have a random Old God. You want to use the Iron Bear Kills Anointment to just get better cooldown, since we do keep Iron Bear active. Lightspeed just hits a lot, so it has a lot of chances, and it can actually crit, as well as just critting with the Pull the Holy Pin skill. So it just hits a lot. There's other stuff like Epicenter and Gas Call that do great. Or you can go for really big damage with the longbow. It's got some double dipping stuff, which is nuts. It doesn't double dip everything, like splash damage and some grenade stuff. But I've found it a lot more inconsistent, and it's better to just use the light speed. Either angle it so you throw right next to the enemy, and then it goes up and hits it, or right at the enemy also works. You just want to make sure it can hit the enemy a bunch. Then you're going to want to use the action skill active grenade damage annoying. This says grenade damage, but it's actually V2/conditional damage, which is additive with the Guardian Angel. But it's still really good because this will be double dipping in Mindsweeper as well, since Mindsweeper is a grenade. So you have that going with the grenades. And then Mindsweeper can deal infinite damage because it can keep going as long as it crits. So those grenades, Mindsweeper counts as a grenade. So pull the Holy Pin can crit, spawning another Mindsweeper, crit, Mindsweeper, crit, Mindsweeper, until it doesn't crit again. So it's double, triple, quadruple dipping, just keeps going with that formula. So we're getting as much formula as possible. Ideally, you want grenade damage, splash radius. Splash radius, I don't think as much matters. Mainly the grenade damage and splash damage with points into either Skagden or into Tor Cross Promotion. Tor Cross Promotion will boost the base damage, or has like the splash that keeps going with it, boosting flash damage, while Fire the Sky again just has a big bonus element. I honestly probably just focus on the passives more than the top skills, because all the top skills are good. It'll be better with the top ones, and I also just like having redistribution just for health regen. It's really nice. Not really using ammo as much, so we have that going there. And then for the artifact, you're going to want to use any artifact that's a victory rush with grenade damage and area of effect damage in the second or third passive. Any victory rush. You could have a terrible prefix, because I'm using a snow drift. That's not helping at all. And I just have action skill cooldown. Ideally, you'd want, like, I'm using cryo, so cryo damage would work really well there, but you don't need it. You got that grenade damage and that area of effect damage, double dipping, as well as the grenade damage and splash damage in the Mindsweeper. It just can instantly melt bosses, but it's all on RNG. But light speed and grenades that just hit a bunch are really good. But you still want a grenade that hits like strong. Like, people know the CMT. There is no cloning mag tracker on here because it's a mid-class mod. I'm not going over it in here. It doesn't help at all in this build. Yeah, we don't use it here. And then we have guns, right? So you can just kind of use guns on this build as well. I'll have my Toxic Chili build, because this is literally just kind of just this build. Toxic Chili build in the description. My main gun's a Herald, but you can use like any cryo gun with a flare. Have URAD because of the front loader. Parts don't really matter. Here I kind of forgot to get a hex, cryo, radiation hex, doesn't matter. A recurring or more spectacular hex is really nice just for keeping up Tor Cross Promotion splash radius. So yeah, light speed isn't what you want here. I just kind of don't really use the gun build as much. It's still really strong because Shortfuse is nuts, and it's still a really high damage build. It's just not as fast clearing as the Slam Snowshoe stuff, but it's just an easy swap. If like, hey, I feel like using guns, I want to do that. So yeah, these kind of, the like passives and stuff don't matter as much. Just a recurring hex with on grenade throw for some nice V2 conditional damage, and then a front loader with Iron Bear kills cooldown. Just because we use a flare here, and when Cub is down, then we don't have that damage, so we want to get Cub back as much as possible. Now the main thing I'd say focus on with flare is the passives. The top rolls are all good. I have 3 in Stainless Steel Bear, and then 2 in Means of Destruction. There's a good amount of combos you could use on this, but Stainless Steel is just really good because it boosts Find the Skagden and Big Surplus, but we don't have Big Surplus active too much here. So I've got pistol damage, splash radius, all really good rolls, all something you want to look for. Weapon damage is also really nice here. And then for the artifact, you just want like a good rolled passive artifact. I have Victory Rush here because we have up to 100% V1 damage with the flare that then goes into Shortfuse, which is nuts. It's just so dumb. This V1 damage doesn't matter as much. It's still going to be can be a very impactful bonus because it's still double dipping. It's just diminishing value, so it's not as important. You really want to make sure you have area of effect damage and like pistol damage, elemental damage, max size, action skill cooldown, all really good. And then I like to use just a snowdrift so I can move around better. Moze is generally pretty slow, so having a snowdrift helps a lot. All right, finally, onto the skill tree, right? Now, a big thing you'll notice here on the top is that we're not using Iron Bear. People think Iron Bear is insane. It's actually kind of overrated. It does deal insane amount of damage, but compared to a geared Moze, Iron Bear is weak. Think about that. If you're killing with Iron Bear, dealing all that damage, and it's weak compared to a geared Moze, that's how dumb Moze is. And it's crazy. With this skill tree spec, you can go Iron Bear with like nukes and Vanquisher Pods. You could technically go miniguns, but Vanquisher Pods plus nukes is good because we don't have anything to get railguns. So if you want to use Iron Bear stuff, you can get like a flame and stuff and go ham. I'll link a video with how to use Iron Bear weapons and Red Explosion tech that I use. Probably link Banjo Bear as well, just to kind of get you knowing how to use that. But let's actually go over the skill tree now. Fire in the Skagden, insane bonus element, great for guns, good for just anything that deals splash, times 31 mayhem scaling, nuts. Then we have deadlines. We have this to keep Iron Bear up. We don't ever want Iron Bear down on this build because Iron Cub. We don't want Iron Cub ever down because it's just another source of damage, which means better clear speed. This matters less in bossing, unless you're using like flare for bossing. So having deadlines is just really good because Iron Bear up or Iron Cub up is really good. 5 in Tor Cross Motion, get plus 100% splash radius. It's like a 0.2 or 0.3 second duration actually. So you can use different stuff to like keep it active. And so like anything that's dealing splash damage in that 0.3 seconds is going to have plus 100% splash radius. It says double, but it's actually plus 100% with this additive with other splash radius, which is nuts. And then it deals splash. It gives additional splash damage, which goes into Shortfuse, and just anything that deals splash. It's crazy. We have means to destruction, so a big thing is getting grenade back for our normal clearing and just our build in general. And then if you want to use gun build stuff, you have this for getting ammo back. Stainless Steel Bear boost Fire in the Skagden, as well as Big Surplus, because they're both technically action skills. So they boost the action skill damage, but mainly it's there just to help boost Cub as well. And then we have Pull the Elite Pin. You must have this for Mindsweeper, because Mindsweeper is the big bossing damage. Lower tier bossing, you can probably just go with like the Frozen Snowshoe stuff and be fine. But those true trial bosses are chunky. They have a lot of health. And so you need this to have those crits. 3 out of 3, nothing else. Then we have Auto Bear, so when Cub uses all its fuel, it can still hang out for a bit. It'll just be stationary doing its thing. We have no Vampire because we don't really need it. I'll sometimes put 1 point in it if I have the extra skill points available, but I don't. Then we have 1 point into the last, so we can throw grenades when we're in fight for our life. This is really good for anything because we got Light Speed for grenade stuff. We have Hex for gun stuff. We've got Hunter Seeker for our regular snowshoe stuff, all being able to build damage for us or deal damage. Short Fuse is taken. because it's double dipping skill. It's insane. But the main reason I take it is because of the Hunter Seeker being a different source of damage, dealing a lot of damage. If it wasn't for Hunter Seeker, I probably wouldn't take this. I'd probably just go to the last and put those skill points elsewhere, probably into like Red Tree, to make other stuff easier. But it's just so good. And then it opens up gun builds, which just confirms it even more into this build, which is insane. And then we don't go Grizzled because the cooldown would be really nice, but I don't want to give up anything else. Why can't I carry all these grenades? It's just grenade capacity. It's not going to do much. And then Explosive Punctuation is not good action skill cooldown, and we've got so much other anyways that it does not matter. Red Tree, we only go 1 point security there because it would be nice to get some of these, but there's other stuff that are more important. And just having this productive bubble is really nice for Cub and its survivability. And then for Green Tree, we are mainly going down for Russian Offensive and then go a little bit extra for Specialist Bear. We have 4 in Cloud of Lead, so when we're shooting guns or Iron Bear or Cub are shooting, it has a chance to not consume ammo. 1 point in Daka Bear, this is so Cub can deal more damage. Stoke the Embers, this is to increase our fire damage as we have sources of fire, like fire in the Skag Den. Redistribution for some ammo regen, but most importantly health regen, which then goes in the shield when we're using Bloodletter. Scrappy, I have 1 point in here, was mainly to get down the tree. I can just put it in max out Cloud of Lead. Either works. I mean, I just like Scrappy. It's got weapon swap speed, mode swap speed, handling. Very good. Russian Offensive, must have. Main reason we're going down Green Tree, Russian Offensive, so we can do that loop with the Frozen Snowshoe. And then we have Scorching RPMs. This also boosts action skill damage, which ends up boosting Fire in the Skag Den and Big Surplus, just like Stainless Steel Bear. So you kind of do take it. Builds don't need it. I've done builds with weird skill trees to where I don't have enough to get Scorching RPMs and been fine. And we only go 4 out of 5 because I need that 1 point to get down the tree. And I need it in the Russian Offensive. Then we go Specialist Bear. This is just so Cub can deal even more damage, and it's just a 1 point skill. And to get to it, you use good RPM skill, which is great. So why not? And then Purple Tree, we're going all the way down to the Capstone. We go 5 in really big guns to boost Iron Cub. Big Surplus, a great bonus element when Cub is down, which does happen because we generally using nukes, so it's mainly just cycling Cub. Double time, because Iron Cub is active at times, so this movement speed is good. You only need 1 point in biofuel to make Cub or Iron Bear invincible, as long as this skill is active. But I just go 3 points because it's either go Harmonious Havoc or biofuel. Ideally, getting like 2 points in here would be really nice. You could also take some out of here and go in here, which would only be useful for the gun part of this build, which is like the least important part. So I didn't really take it. And then Explosive Fury doesn't work. It doesn't do anything. There's nothing special that makes it work. It doesn't work. You never take this skill, ever. Simple as that. And then we have Fired Up for some fire rate, 1 point skill. Helps the gun build, so may as well take it. Nitro Engines we take to get down the tree, and also just action skill, cooldown rate, and max fuel is amazing. We only take 1 point, never going to give you up. It looks good to take more, but those diminishing returns happens fast, so it's best to just take 1 point in it. And then we're down here. Big thing we're taking here is Superior Firepower, and a big reason we're here is because of Superior Firepower. It does not list it, but it boosts cryo damage, since cryo does not have a dot. So since it can't boost a cryo dot, it does cryo damage. Not everything that says status effect damage does this. Like the status effect damage in Chance Anoint doesn't do it, where Executor class mod does. Executors for Zane. So we have that, and then the status effect damage will also boost the rad explosions from URAD. It'll boost the dot that URAD applies. I mean, if the enemy's still alive, And so it just does a crazier explosion. And then while we're here, might as well take feature creep, good damage bonus, only additive with really big guns, 18%, almost doubles this bonus, or like this damage category. And then we take limit break for insane cooldown. 3 out of 3 is 120% cooldown. Insane. And then we take running on fumes. So when Bear is running around, it doesn't consume fuel. This does not stop Cub or Bear from consuming fuel when it fires its weapon, which is unfortunate, but still really good, especially if you use Flare for like the gun stuff, or even just when using Mindsweeper stuff. And since I'll explain why, since we're about to get into Cub. Cub is always used here. I did say you can use Iron Bear, and you still can, but Cub is generally just used here if you're doing anything besides an Iron Bear build here. Rocketeer is great, but this isn't a Rocketeer build. So we got Iron Cub with, I just went efficiency engines. None of these really matter. This is good for the flare setup because it's just more gun damage. That's it. Now, where the main stuff you go is the Vanquisher Pod with the Hammerdome Protocol. Vanquisher Pod by itself, this splash damage will kill Cub. It will die. But Hammerdome Protocol has a big splash radius and does not kill Cub. So you're just kind of good to go with that. If you're not doing the standard like snowshoe setup, then you want to keep Cub up as long as possible because we're benefiting stuff from action skill active like light speed and flare here. So usually I would use Bear Fist because it's hard for Bear to attack and it doesn't cost a lot of fuel. Fortunately, don't have enough skill points. It is just 4 skill points and there is things I could take out to take it, but then it would just hurt the overall build for one specific part. And we have something that still works pretty well, which is salamanders. Base salamanders works pretty well. You could also take fuel economy to even decrease the fuel drain. It does increase movement speed though, so I don't know how that would even out with this build, but I've used base salamanders and it works good enough for flare and Minesweeper stuff. So you basically just do that, and then you've got that for going with Euro flare stuff or Giant Cub Minesweeper stuff. And then we have nothing special or funky going on with Guardian rank and nothing with our Mayhem modifiers. I hope you guys enjoyed the build video. This build does take some knowledge to play correctly, and I try and explain the best I can. But I will link tons of videos in the description to help you out, and please ask any questions you have in the comments or in my Discord because I want to help you learn. Moze is crazy busted, and I can't believe how strong the Vault Hunters in Borderlands 3 are in general, but Moze's Shortfuse can literally one-shot every enemy's health bar in the game combined. And then you have the Minesweeper class mod with potentially infinite damage. Again, you can find the save file in my Discord, which will be linked down below, as well as my other socials. If you haven't, I would really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.